Title: Putin pulls World War II footage as his war card, valid argument or desperate justification? TLDR. Putin turns to the reals of history, specifically World War II atrocities, in a political forum to back up his ongoing war. At the same time, Ukraine's summer offensive seems to be chipping away at Russian morale with multiple POWs captured. Is Putin's historical show and tell a strategic move or a desperate gasp for validation? Story. Just as you thought geopolitics couldn't get any more like a Tarantino flick, it seems we've taken a sharp turn into Spielberg territory. Picture this: Putin pulling up a chair, dimming the lights, and cranking up the old film projector. Now imagine the footage isn't your regular war room strategy, it's World War II massacres, a chilling flashback aired to the forum in an effort to justify his war. Now, we're no history buffs, but we're pretty sure using old war footage as a get-out-of-jail-free card in the game of global diplomacy is a rather bold move, even for Putin. Sure, we've seen leaders use historical references before, but this feels a bit like a student trying to pass their history exam by pulling out the answer sheet from last year's test. And while Putin's trying to rationalize his war in the forum, the war zone is telling a different story. A week into Ukraine's summer offensive, the tide seems to be turning, and the number of Russian POWs is stacking up like a Jenga tower. As for Russian morale? Well, let's just say, it's not on a Rocky-style inspirational ascent. We're not here to tell you what to think or how to feel. After all, this isn't a big-grade TV psychic show. But let's ask ourselves this: is Putin's reel of the past a valid justification for the present war, or is it a desperate attempt to gain some sort of validation? While some may argue that history can guide our future actions, others might wonder if Putin's historical screen time is an emotional play, aimed at painting his actions in a more favorable light. And let's not forget about the soldiers on the ground, those being taken as POWs and the ones witnessing it. How does this PowerPoint presentation from the past impact their present realities? The complexity of war, politics, and history is mind-boggling and often leaves us with more questions than answers. But that's exactly where we want to leave you, pondering and questioning. In a world where politicians are more akin to movie directors, what's the line between using history as a learning tool and using it as a tool for justification? Disclaimer: this news piece is for information purposes only and should not be taken as any form of advice or recommendation. Our objective is to stimulate critical thought and provoke discussion. What are your thoughts? Is Putin using the past to justify the present? Is this a strategic move or a desperate plea for validation? Let's get the conversation started. What's your take on this?